We are nearing the end of the Phoenix Festival tournament now that round 7 of the singles category and the semifinals of the teams category have come to a close. So next week we will be moving into the semifinals of the singles category and the final matches of the teams category. But first we have the results to go over. So we'll start off with the teams category. In our first match we had Team Stark versus Team Goop, and Team Stark narrowly wins this match. A lot of people saying that Team Stark just has more speed on their team than Team Goop does. Peter Port in particular being a little bit of an older fighter and not as fast as he would have been in his younger years, and Team Stark, in theory, all of the members of their team would be fairly quick. We know Crow and Raven, as we've seen them fight, especially Crow, quite extensively on screen, but Summer Rose likely being a fast fighter as well, and Tai Yang. We don't know that much about Summer and Tai, similarly with Oobleck and Port, but Team Stark would just be the faster fighters and eventually be able to get close enough to Team Goop to win. And a lot of people were also pointing out that it's possible that Raven might have a portal to Ozpin, something that I missed in my analysis. And if that's the case, Raven would be able to open up a portal to him, or possibly any other professor that she might have a connection to, and Team Stark could get the advantage that way. This was something that I mentioned back in my previous theory video, that Raven will be returning in Atlas. With Ozpin's return, maybe that kindred link that Raven would have might return as well, so it does kind of make sense that Team Stark would win in this scenario, but it was very close as the professors of Beacon Academy are extremely strong. And then in our second match, we had Team Esprit fighting against Team Witch, and this one was a little bit more one-sided, with Team Esprit taking the win here. A lot of people saying that the mobility of Team Esprit was their advantage, with Ironwood being able to use the gravity dust rounds, launch himself around the battlefield, not to mention Penny being able to take to the air the power that she wields with her floating array, Clover's good luck, boosting the team. Their mobility and versatility, a lot of people were saying that depending on how it matched up, Team Esprit would just have more advantage overall. Any 1v1 matches that would take place, Team Esprit would have the advantage more often than not. Similarly, when it gets to 2v2 or 3v3 or however it would match up, Team Esprit just gains more and more of an advantage, especially with Winter's summons giving them the number advantage, etc. And Watts not really being the most capable fighter of Team Witch, so Team Esprit does win this fight overall. That means moving on to the finals in the teams category, we will have Team Stark fighting against Team Esprit, and fighting for third place in the teams category, we will have Team Witch versus Team Goop. This fight did happen previously in round 1 of the Phoenix Festival tournament, and Team Witch did defeat Team Goop. Let's see if the results stay the same this time around. The video covering the final matches in the teams category will be released tomorrow, as well as the video covering round 8 of the singles category. But first, let's go over the results of round 7. In our first match, we had Glinda Goodwitch having a pretty resounding victory over Marrow Amon. Just her telekinesis, fighting in the lava and urban biomes, the amount of things she would have to manipulate pretty much blew out Marrow in this fight. Then we had Raven Bronwyn defeating Elm Edern. Again, a pretty one-sided fight, Raven's speed being a very good matchup against Elm, as Elm is more of a plant herself in place and deal the heavy damage. Raven would just be able to outspeed that, deal quite a bit of damage of her own, and be able to take out Elm in this fight. But then every other match has been quite close after this. We did have Pyrrha Nikos once again defeating Yang Xiaolong. Her polarity being able to affect likely Yang's metal arm, as well as her Ember Celica being able to push her back. So Pyrrha does move on to round 8, and we'll see if she's able to make it to the finals in the teams category. And then we get to the most controversial fight to take place probably in the entire Phoenix Festival tournament, as this one is a rematch between Neapolitan and Hazel Reinhardt. And once again, Neapolitan is the victor by a very slight margin. Neo got 50.8% of the votes and Hazel got 49.2%. But a lot of people were defending their decision with a pretty detailed analysis. I will put a few of the analyses that were in the questionnaire on screen, as people were putting a lot of analysis in this. This isn't just sheer favoritism, and I know people are going to be fairly upset by this fight and the results that are in it, as everyone is going to have a different analysis. There were people who had initially selected Neo to win in the early rounds of the tournament when Neo and Hazel first fought each other, but changed their opinions here. Other people stuck to their opinions, having Neo still win, giving their analysis, given the new biomes, and a lot of things were taking place in this fight. A lot of people put a decent amount of thought into this. The tournament itself is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be a thought experiment, and in this case, even though I had said that I thought Hazel would win this fight, the majority thinks that Neo would win this fight by the very slight majority. And we'll see if in next year's Phoenix Festival tournament, if this match comes up again with more people giving their opinions, maybe the majority will be different. But for right now, Hazel is eliminated from the tournament and Neapolitan moves on to the semi-finals. And then in our final match in round 7, we had Talk defeating Adam Toros. A fairly close match as well. A lot of people were putting a decent amount of stock in Adam's adaptability in battle and his Moonslice, being able to use it at opportune times, and whenever Talk would activate her semblance of 60-second invulnerability, then he would simply be able to avoid her for those 60 seconds and wait for her aura to break. But then on the flip side, a lot of people were pointing to Talk being able to keep up with the Grim Reaper, something that not many people would be able to do in the RWBY series. A lot of people were saying that, well, since Talk was able to keep up with the Grim Reaper, Adam likely wouldn't be able to, and things like that, saying that Talk's ferocity in battle, possibly not even having to rely on her semblance, would be able to overwhelm Adam eventually, and Talk does defeat Adam in this fight. So by the end of round 7, we have Adam Toros, Hazel Reinhardt, Yang Xiaolong, Elm Adern, and Marrow Eamon being eliminated from the tournament, meaning that Glinda Goodwitch, Raven Bronwyn, Pyranikos, Neapolitan, and Talk move on to the semi-finals. I know there's going to be a few people who disagree with the majority vote on some of these fights, but please keep things civil down in the comments below. This is a thought experiment overall, majority rules, and it's not just favoritism. I can see through the comments that people are making that they're putting a lot of thought into this and explaining why they're making the choices that they have made. So overall, these are the results, and now let's move to decide the matches for round 8. As it stands now, there is one person remaining in each the winner's bracket and loser's bracket of each group, meaning that a lot of the matches that would be set up if it were to continue the way it was would simply be rematches of ones that had happened previously in the tournament. So instead, we're going to randomize it again to make sure that there are matchups happening in different brackets. And with that being the case, I'll likely have to make a separate tournament for the finals in the singles category, but let's move to the randomization process. So the way that the match selection process is going to work, we have our 5 winners from the winners brackets in each group, and we also have the 5 winners in each of the losers brackets. As it stands now, we would have Glinda versus Crow, which happened before. Same with Tyrion and Pyrrha, same with Neo and Benny, same with Ozpin and Talk, etc. So what I'm going to use is this randomizer here, where I'm going to select 5 random numbers between 1 and 5, and each of them will be unique values, which means we'll just get 1 to 5 randomized in their order. And once we get an order or sequence where none of these match up, that it would be 5 getting, or 5 in the 5th spot, 1 in the 1st spot, so the matches will all be different, then we will stick with that ordering. It'll hopefully make more sense once it gets going. So 3, 2, 4, 1, 5. 5 is in the exact same spot. If we randomized it this way, Talk would still be facing Ozpin, so we have to randomize it again. 4, 2. 2 is in the exact same spot. 2, 3, 5, 4 is in the exact same spot. 2, 1, 5, 4 again. 5, 3, 2, 1, 4. There we go. We'll match it up this way. So we have Talk is in the 5th spot, so that'll be Talk versus Ozpin. Pyrrha versus Maria, which happened in an exhibition match. We will have Raven versus Tyrion. That's gonna be interesting. We will have Glinda versus Penny. I'm looking forward to see how that turns out. And Neo versus Ozpin. Well,
These matches look like they are going to be fun to analyze. So which ones are you looking forward to most in round 8 of the singles category in the Phoenix Festival tournament? I will set up a separate bracket and it'll be linked in the description down below so you guys can go and see that and how it's going to turn out. After this round, there will be 5 characters remaining that will move on to a round robin style tournament for the finals of the singles category, where they will each face each other a single time, and whoever has the most wins by the end of it will be declared the victor in the singles category. So hopefully you guys are looking forward to that. Make some predictions down in the comments below. Who do you think is going to move on to the finals category? Again, be civil in discussing the results of today's matches and in the future, because this is all meant to be fun. Analyze it seriously, but have some fun with it overall. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this video. If you are, make sure to subscribe, keep up with the Phoenix Festival tournament and all of the other videos and content on this channel. Join the Guild of the Eternal Flame. Tweet me at PhoenixKnight7, join our Discord server, also linked in the description down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.